Hello and welcome to Ham Nation, episode 572 for May 8th, 2024. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ham Nation. I'm Josh, KI6NAZ. Are you ready for Hamvention? That's right. That's what's coming up because, boy, howdy, we're in deep planning mode over here. And we're going to go say hi to the host because I know they're going to talk about Hamvention as well. But we got a big returning, our one of our favorite people ever. Amanda is back, everybody. How's Amanda? How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, and nice to be here. And sorry I missed you all in the last few episodes, but I'm back, and we're going to be talking about Dayton. We've got some great guests tonight, so stick around. You're not going to want to miss this.
It's just great to have you back. I can get a sliver of my sanity back from trying to coordinate all the shows there. It means a lot to me to have you back, Amanda.
I bet it does.
So we went ladies first this week, guys. So we'll go next to Gordo on the top of the pyramid. How you doing, Gordo?
We are doing fine, and we're getting ready for Dayton Hamvention, and that's going to be a big deal. And for those that can't go, Josh, I'm sure will tell you all about how to tune you in and tune us in on YouTube.
That's right. And Gordo will be talking a little bit about it because he's got a lot planned for that weekend. So stay tuned on that. Don, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, I'm unfortunately not going to be able to make it to Hamvention this year. Again, some more still. But as usual, you know, I generally have, 27 Hamvention lanyards around my neck. Well, I didn't do that tonight because I have the new Dayton 2024 Hamvention lanyard. And I want to wait to show you that because I think it's really cool, the color that they picked out. And in fact, we have got George Ewing, WD8NHI, who is the leader of the Venture Crew 73, quite an appropriate number for Dayton. They're the ones who sell the lanyards as great souvenirs and also to hang your laminated ticket from. That's all included in the price. I got more information on that. We're going to talk to George and one of the scouts and all that a little bit later on. Also, we're going to have news from the Newsline crew and also a solar update from Dr. Tamitha Scove. So it's going to be a big show.
Yeah, I think last year we dubbed you the Mr. T of Hamvention lanyards, right? That was what
I started to dig them all out tonight, but I wanted to give this one just the full, the whole stage because it's the best.
And I'll catch you up, everybody watching. We will be doing a live stream from Hamvention, just like we did last year. It's going to be Saturday morning at 9:15 in the #1 room. And we'll have as many people there in person as we can. We'll also have some of our hosts online as well. We'll kind of do what we did last year, but I'm aiming to have a little more surprises as well. So if you know what we did at the end of last year's show, you probably want to come to this one as well if you're going to be in town, and that would be great. So that means we're going to toss it on over to Amanda to talk to Mike.
Did you want to say hi to Gordo?
Oh, no, we went to him.
You neglected Gordon?
No, he was the top of the pyramid. He was the first person we went to. And then I went around. You were ladies first. And then I said, going to the top of the pyramid is Gordo. And then we went to Don.
Yeah. Well, let's go to Gordo again.
Okay, go ahead. Go again.
And now, here's Amanda.
Thanks, Gordo. Appreciate that. And can you tell it's going to be a fun show, everybody?
Mm-hmm. Always is.
Well, wait for it. We have Mike Walters here from the ARRL. He's the field service manager, W8ZY. How you doing, Mike?
Good evening, Amanda. I look forward to this. For the folks that don't know, Amanda is one of our section managers, and my job as field services manager is to deal with all of the section managers across the country. Someone asked me if that was like herding cats. I referred to it more as like trying to herd goldfish. But this is about the only time I really get to see Amanda. So this is always a big treat for me. So
you got your hands full with that one, Mike.
Oh gosh, I tell you, where do you think those gray hairs on him come from? Anyhow, Mike is going to be talking about a bunch of stuff here, but he's really interested in talking about the club grants coming up and club affiliation. So, Mike, what do you want to tell us about that?
Well, this is my third visit to Ham Nation. And the big reason that they let me come on here is to talk about the ARRL Foundation Club Grant Program. And we have done this twice before. We actually did 2 big rounds in 2022 and then later on in 23 we didn't do it. Now we're back. And we are going to be opening up a whole new round of club grant availability. Our folks or our friends at ARDC were nice enough to fund this for us. So we have about $500,000 to put into club grants.
Wow.
And clubs, like before, will be able to apply for a grant up to $25,000.
Wow.
And what we're looking for, I will give you the little hint, is we're looking for clubs that have projects that we use the term transformational. And that is a project that is going to have a good effect or an overall effect on the amateur community or the community in general. So if they're doing ham training, if they're doing STEM training, if they're doing recruiting, they can do lots of different things. And we have had, the number is, I think 44 clubs across the country now have received grants from the foundation. And this is a great opportunity for clubs to put together a project, get their application in, and the ones that are chosen, but before the end of this year, we'll be awarding checks to those clubs. So it is a real opportunity again, and we're very happy to be bringing this back to the community.
I think it's a fantastic deal and really easy for everyone your club to get together and fill out the application. Mike, who makes the decision? Is it just kind of a committee there at headquarters?
Well, it's not just at headquarters. We have folks who, because it's the grants are managed by and administered by the foundation, we have a few of us that are here within headquarters that are part of the group, but we actually have a group of people that review the applications, and we logistically we have essentially 3 different teams. And the first thing we do is we look at all the applications and decide if there's any conflicts of interest. So, in the ham community, I know people all over the country.
Sure.
And folks that, other folks in our group know different people across the country. So we have to make sure that I'm not evaluating an application for, my friends up the street. So we make sure that is not happening. And then we go through a full scoring process based on the answers that they put into what we call the project narrative.
Okay.
And it asks you, what's your project going to do? How's it going to do this? How's it going to do that? And those answers are what the evaluators look at. And once everything is scored, it boils it down to essentially a numeric score. And then we add up the scores. And just like for the Oscars and just like for anything else, in the end, we have the ones that scored well and the ones that didn't. So.
And if clubs need help, if they're looking for advice, would you suggest them going to their section manager or?
Well, I always tell a club, if you have a question, a good place to go is your section manager.
Okay.
And I don't tell them that section managers know everything, Amanda. So, but section managers know who to talk to. They can call us at headquarters. They can reach out. We can find answers for them.
Correct.
And we get a lot of questions from clubs like, does our club have to be a 501c3 to apply for a grant? The answer is no, you do not. Do they have to be an ARRL affiliated club to apply for a grant? Again, the answer is no, they do not. We evaluate all of the applications based on the merits of the application, not on who it comes from or where it comes from.
Sure. Absolutely. And I think that kind of answered one of the questions in the chat. Is there anyone who will help first-time grant writers? Always reach out to see if anyone in your club actually has any experience, but definitely section manager or someone on the team of the section management can probably help with that. Usually maybe even the club coordinator, which I plan on getting mine in zero POH up to date on it, up to speed, and he can definitely help out with those here in the state of Colorado. So just reach out and see what happens. You have plenty of time. The window opens when? June 3rd?
The window opens on June 3rd. You'll be able to apply, and the information is not completely up to date, but this is the Club Grant Program website on the ARRL site. The window opens on June 3rd, and they will have until July 26th to finish their application. The application window closes at, and this is very important because this has been an issue for us, it closes at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on July 26th. Okay. So just like the polls closing, if it comes in the next Monday, I'm afraid it won't be accepted. But one thing we've done, because clubs, a lot of clubs will look at this and say, well, we don't have any experience writing an application for a grant. So what we've done is we've provided templates. And essentially you look at the template and you fill in the blanks on a lot of it. You answer questions instead of sitting there and looking at a blank page and trying to figure out what to write. So we tried to help clubs with giving them the template to really answer those questions for them.
Great. I wish I had some examples. Maybe you could just think of a couple of examples of what you've given out grants for.
We have one extremely good example that we use. It happens to be a club here in Connecticut. The Meriden Amateur Radio Club is doing a program they call Marconi, and flashy little name, but it's an acronym, and for the life of me, I can't remember what Marconi stands for. But essentially what it is a group of projects for a club. So if your club wants to do a VE session, you want to do a balloon launch, you want to do a POTA, this is basically, this is the how-to guide to walk you through doing this kind of project. And it talks about all the different aspects of that particular project. And there's about 10 different projects that they have in that group. We have one club which is aimed primarily at kids. They're essentially building the amateur radio environment in Minecraft.
Oh, wow.
If you have anybody in your household or anybody in your family that's under about 20 years old, they probably know about Minecraft.
And they have an account, yes.
And they have the opportunity to play in Minecraft. Well, they're building the environment of amateur radio, so you can actually simulate talking to people in Minecraft on an amateur radio. There are other clubs that have done Skywarn seminars. There are clubs that have built demonstration trailers that have radios and different things in them that they take around for Skype, and not Skype, but for STEM training, those sort of things. So it's quite a variety. and we're looking for those projects that we think are worthwhile.
Fantastic.
And again, we use the term transformational. It's a big term, and it means, it's not just we're going to buy you a radio so you can stick it in the closet and haul it out next year for field day. We want you to put more into the community than that.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of clubs and the ARRL, you also want to talk about club affiliations.
Yeah, we're looking at right now across the country, there are about 2,800 affiliated clubs.
Wow.
And one of the things that I would love to ask every one of those clubs, a lot of them are getting very involved with the idea, but one of the things we ask clubs to do is update their information. Who are the officers? How many people do you have? Things like that. Because one of the functions of being an affiliated club is that if someone asks, is there a club in my area, we point them toward the affiliated clubs. And we try to make that a process for them. So clubs across the country, of course, then they also have access to things like the ARRL insurance program. You basically cannot get near a piece of public property, like a park or something, to do field day or to do an event for the club without liability insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And liability insurance is something that if you just go down to your local insurance agent and tell them that you want liability insurance for your club, you might be surprised at the rates you get.
Or they wouldn't even know how to rate it.
Yeah, or they would be afraid to write it. Yeah. And we have a partner, and of course, the disclaimer that I always put in is that ARRL is not an insurance agency. We don't sell insurance, and we can't give you information or advice on insurance. But we do partner with a company called Risk Strategies, and they provide both liability insurance and insurance for equipment, things like repeaters and stuff like that.
Sure.
So it's well worth looking into.
Definitely.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're running out of time here, but let's talk a little bit about what you guys are going to be doing at Hamvention.
Oh, we're going to have a whole list of things. We were talking about it a moment ago. I have the list printed out here in front of me of all the forums that we're going to be doing,
wow.
Including one where we're actually going to get some work out of Gordo on Friday morning. We are going to be doing a whole list of forums. We invite you to go to the ARRL website, look up Hamvention, go to the Hamvention website and look up the forums. There's also the ARRL convention app that is available, and it has a list of all the forums and where they're located. Everything from, as I said, Gordo's going to be there talking about his education programs. We love that. And I'm going to be talking about clubs, and we're going to be talking about just about everything in between. So we invite you to come out and visit with us. And the booth is going to be there. We're going to have a very big booth like we always have. Part of that will be our youth forum that will be continuously going on in the booth itself. So there's going to be a lot of things going on.
All right. And I heard there might be some surprises or some pretty cool things to check out there. So everyone, don't miss the ARRL booth. Even if it is a little bit busy, take your time and go visit. Thanks, Mike, for joining us tonight. Appreciate it. And I think I answered all the questions from the chat room. But yes, the liability insurance, everybody. And it's not just about damaged equipment. It's about what your equipment might damage as well. So check that out. Thanks, Mike. Have fun in Dayton.
Good to be here.
All right. Then stick around if you want to stay throughout the rest of the show. And with that, we do have Gordo. What you got going for us, Gordo?
Well, going for all of ham radio is the American Radio Relay League, and Michael is going to be so busy with this club program. Wow, what a deal. Well, you know, Hamvention is an institution that once a year overcomes all odds, and it's from the hundreds of Dayton area and even further volunteers that take a position. So let's take a look and see all that can happen at the Dayton Hamvention that you might not see in the program. So Josh, if you'll bring up that first one. Well, Hamvention has been going on for years and years. I don't know, Michael, how many years has Hamvention been around from the Biltmore Hotel?
I'm not sure about the first one. I think it was in the late 50s, but I'm not sure about the actual first event.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. And yep, we outgrew the Biltmore and we went to the Hera Arena. And Hera Arena was wonderful. It was the home of Dayton Hamvention. And coming up is the 2024 ARRL National Convention in conjunction with the Dayton Hamvention. But look what happened many years ago to Hera. Hera suffered a direct hit on a tornado, not during the convention, luckily, but a couple months later, and absolutely destroyed that facility. And we thought, oh my gosh, how is the Dayton Amateur Radio Association, how's DARA ever going to find a spot somewhere nearby that had all the booth space that Hera Arena had? Well, they pulled it off and they went to the make that the Greene County Fairgrounds. And the Greene County Fairgrounds was wonderful because you see the size of that building. Well, they've got about 4 of that size, and the American Radio Relay League will be in their normal spot, building number 2. That's called the Tesla building. But they're going to have all of their 1-hour forums, of which I'll be offering the Instructor Academy for those wanting to teach ham classes like we saw 2 weeks ago here. And that's right across the way, just about where this photo was taken. And, you know, the fairgrounds is indeed a working fairgrounds. And right up until the day of getting ready for the Hamvention, they have all sorts of equestrian events that you see here. But this is what we're all looking for. And this is where they're going to have one of the country's largest outdoor ham radio swap meets, probably indoor or outdoor. And this is just one of about 3 different swap meet areas. And the first job is to get it groomed so the dark area is filled with a nice pebbly type for easy walking. And the green area, well, the green area is taken care of by good old Michael Calder, W8 Charlie India. And Michael has been doing the Hamvention for so many years, he'll tackle any job, including making sure that the path is nice and sturdy for the pedestrians. And of course, there's no parking on the grass. Well, there is for Dayton Hamvention, because that's where all the activities are going to take place. And for those of you that get to the fairgrounds a little bit early, either in the afternoon on Thursday or ready for opening on Friday, here's a ham that drove halfway across the country, and he is using his spot for a little rest. And you'll find that on Thursday afternoon, this really fills up quick. And that's my day that I like to take a look and see all that's offered before the event actually opens on Friday. They've really done a great job every year, and they continue to improve on, boy, you couldn't make it any better, but they do. And they have charts and maps and so on, including on your smartphone. If you're looking for something, thanks to the league, you'll be able to go to a special app and be able to locate it quickly. So everything is well marked. Some of the signs I didn't quite understand. So guys, I'm not sure about this one. So I had a little laugh there. Oh my gosh, forum rooms 1 and 2. I'm not sure that after they put the sign up, oh yeah, well, we'll get that covered up in no time. And that's the nice thing about Dayton. Unlike a commercial hotel with all sorts of unions that says you can't do this and you can't do that, at the Greene County Fairgrounds, they are so obliging, and we have all of the equipment from the volunteers to make quick changes. And let me tell you, the talk-in station will have a monster signal, and on high frequency, you're going to hear them all over the country, likely all over some of the worldwide stations using HF to try and work the Dayton station. And they're on throughout all of the Hamvention hours. And on HF, I hope they have a better day than today, because as you know, we were hit with sunspot 3663 that exploded almost to a Carrington event. Luckily, the coronal mass ejection is just happening now and maybe even tomorrow morning. But even your mightiest antenna, we hope that it'll blast through the ionosphere and refract back down for great DX. And when things open up at 9 a.m. bright and early, and by the way, plenty of free parking, and you'll be able to walk about, maybe 5 minutes, and you're there on scene. They're open 9 to 5. My talk is at 10 o'clock. And again, the American Radio Relay League has a forum room 3 all to ourselves for 2 hours. For 2 days, and it's going to be, make that 3 days. And Michael, you've got one also happening, a nice talk on clubs on Sunday morning. Michael?
Yes, indeed. I have one on at 9:15 Sunday morning. I will be talking about club programs and talking about some ideas that I have for clubs and dealing with new hams. So come on out and see that. It's a program that I've already had a section manager ask me, Amanda, after the program, will I make this presentation available to the section manager? So we'll get that out to you.
Very good.
Oh, that's great. Michael, I wish I had your voice for my audio courses. So the building opens up, and of course, there's always a huge crowd that pours in. But look at the size of the buildings there at Dayton, Hamvention, and Greene County Fairgrounds. They are immense. Their air conditioning is sometimes opening up the doors, but believe me, they make it happen, and they anticipate everything because, by golly, they've truly had everything happen there. Well, and of course, Ray is going to be there. And, this is special. You get the sales manager, the main #1 folks coming to the Hamfest, and that gives you an opportunity to talk directly to them. And David Minster, NA2AA, CEO of the American Radio Relay League, will be there. And he's always eager to spend time with you, and you can push different ideas, and believe me, he takes notes as well. And Ray, you're always packing the crowd there at Hamfest. We encourage all of you that attending Dayton to be sure and wear your name badge. That way you can meet friends that you've talked to on, you're John. And that's the best part of Dayton, beside all of the neat goodies there, is making friends with those that you've talked to on the air, and finally you have an eyeball because you've been able to see their name badge. Now, if you didn't get a name badge, some of the ladies go extra special. She's there every year, and you never know what her hairdo will have, but that is an illuminated sign atop her hairdo, and that's her real hair. And this gentleman here, he's going for a little directionality, so he's got to be walking just right. But again, that's the swap meet area. And notice that if you're in a wheelchair or you're unsteady, you'll be steady as can be, because Michael Calder has ground all of those little rocks up into a nice walking area. And it's always fun to see the name badges of all of the booth participants. And this is a quality event that everybody looks forward to, so they're always dressed to the hilt. And if you look all the way to the left and over just one notch, you're going to see a smiling face and that is Kevin with Bieno Batteries. And what he's going to do is he brings these batteries, and if someone says, well, what happens if you short out a lithium battery? He'll be first to tell you, no, they're lithium iron phosphate, and they have a circuitry inside of them, and you'll barely get a spark if you short out the terminals, but you'll get plenty of hours and hours of operation. And this is what I use when I'm out with Josh working our 10 gigahertz gear out on a mountaintop, or the lightweight lithium iron phosphate batteries. Now, the ARRL booth, again, is in the Tesla building, and you're going to have an opportunity to meet my book editor, Mark Dirks, KC1RVQ. And at the same location, you're going to also see Riley Hollingsworth from the FCC, now retired, but in charge of the monitoring program, K4 Zulu Delta Hotel. And you're going to meet a lot of other folks, including those that are in the publications department. They'll have my new extra class book there, hot off the press. Ink will probably still be wet, as well as technician and general class. And again, my seminar on Friday morning at 10 o'clock. And Bob Enderbetson, let me tell you, in Q1R, Bob is just like the silent soul that's been with the league forever and just makes things happen. Always even-keeled, never gets upset about anything, and makes things happen because he is a real people person. And that's who you're going to meet in the ARRL booth. There you go. Michael, some of the team members, George Spada, W1GKS, and John McAuliffe, KD2ZWN. Maybe not them, but this is the ones that preceded George and John that will be heading up the lab. And yes, we understand there's going to be some secret testing that they're going to be doing on radios. So if you have a handheld and you don't mind it being secretly tested without taking it apart, make sure your batteries are fresh and come on over, and they'll give you a real spectrum analyzation. And in charge of amateur radio emergency service, and of course all that the league does at a disaster scene by shipping down these giant complete boxes with radio equipment ready to go, is Josh Johnson, KE5MHB. That may not be Josh there, but Josh is the one that you're going to see this year standing beside some of the amateur radio emergency service equipment that the
Gordo
league has in case emergency. A comment?
Gordo, the gentleman in this picture right here, this is Steve Ewald.
Oh, that is Steve. Okay.
Now, for anybody who has dealt with the league, Steve has been with the league now for 42 years.
Wow.
He works for me in field services, and Steve is absolutely the hardest working man in the league. I tell everybody that. So unfortunately, Steve will not be with us in Dayton this year, but this gentleman right here, this is the kind of dedication that the league has. People who have been doing this. Steve, we tell people that Steve has been there so long that he and Hiram used to go to lunch together. But Steve essentially graduated from college down in Tennessee, and his father drove him to Newington. He went to work for the league, and he's been at his desk ever since. So he is an amazing character, and if you ever call looking for something, Steve could be the guy that you talk to. And he is amazing. So I couldn't stress the fact that we have dedication like Steve in the league.
Well, thank you, Michael. And boy, isn't that the truth, that it's quite a family, and you're going to have an opportunity of meeting that family. And as we talk more about the training, yes, we're going to have an instructor academy, and we'll be ready to tell you all that the American Radio Relay League has at their Learning Center. And that Learning Center is open to everyone for some of the items. And league members that sign up as a registered instructor, and that's a free of charge registered instructor sign-up page. No, I just need to be a league member. You're going to have access as what we have here. And that access is going to, as Gary will tell you, Gary and Deborah, that access is going to give you all sorts of PowerPoint and some of all the other training materials. And Gary's going to be there at my seminar, and he's going to share a little bit about what he discovered in the League's Learning Center that's online. And to get to it, just go to ARRL at I have to think about ARRL.org / and my name with a hyphen in between, Gordon-West. And then you'll see a little box that says get over to the Learning Center, and you'll see some of the great work that he does when he offers classes over the internet, as well as testing opportunities. So lots of folks behind the ARRL. And we'll be signing certificates. This is Tamitha that you're going to see very shortly when Dawn presents Tamitha and her weather, her space weather. And we give out these nice certificates, ARRL, for just coming up and saying hi. So bring your friends over to the League booth, and I'll be there. And, of course, you got to go outside and sample some of the great food. They are almost doubling what they first started out with food vendors, and I counted almost 40 all over the grounds. So you're not going to go hungry. You're going to eat and eat and eat. And then, of course, you can work off some of that food by taking in the giant swap meet, and this is good stuff. If you need the old Zenith Transoceanic, you got it. If you want to watch some guys on 160 meters making a contact over a mile, this fellow's going to crank it up and make it happen. And it's going to get a response from someone else, and they're going to crank it up and make it happen. I don't know if they're on 160 or maybe 75, but this is fun. This is ham radio in action. And if you're looking for that part, yeah, there it is. It'll be $5. What, $5 for just a BNC to a N connector? No, $5, and you take this whole barrel of these connectors. So some very good deals out there. And there it is, like my wife's car, Susie in 6GLF. That's one of the little smart cars, and he's packed. He is ready to roll. And this is the fun of ham radio. And yep, CB, a lot of hams came from the days of CB radios. This ham says he's got them all modified so they cover the 10-meter band, and he's tight. He says, I don't sell these to anybody unless they have a ham radio call sign. And, of course, technicians have 10-meter privileges. Oh, yeah, real expensive. I think they're $20 a pop, and everyone is working. And generally at Dayton at a swap meet, if a ham says it's working, it's working. And, of course, you got to have more food. You got to load up. And the food trucks are literally all over the place. And these are gourmet food trucks. And if you eat too much and you have a little bit of chest pain, no problem at all. They've got 2 emergency medical technician as well as paramedic carts with the trained personnel. They'll be there in an instant. So this really points out that Dayton is ready for anything. And we get visitors coming to the Dayton Hamvention all over the world. As you can see here, this chart about 5 years old, so there's even more. And, of course, what's Dayton without a little bit of a squall now and then? And if that squall should turn into something more worse, they've got plans for that as well. And it's not the first time that we've had a tornado at either the old or the new fairgrounds. It happens, but not one that came right on top of us. But nonetheless, we were all told where to go and how to be safe. So we encourage all of you to just buy a little trinket and bring it home and tell the XYL, hey, honey, I bought a small piece of aluminum. That's Eric, who assists me as technical editor for all of our ham radio and commercial GROL training books, admiring a small tower that I don't know how tall that is, but it's going to take a crane to get it there. So all of you, if you can't make Dayton, tune in to Josh and the gang And we look forward to seeing you there. And be sure and get over to the Icom booth, because you never know what Icom's going to have next. In fact, let's take a look at Icom gear now.
The wait is over. Come see Icom at Hamvention 2024 in Xenia, Ohio from May 17th through 19th. Also, you won't want to miss a sneak peek of an upcoming mystery radio release. Upgrade your station with one of Icom's fabulous HF radios. With the IC7610, faint signals are no longer challenging for DXers and contesters. The high-performance RMDR can pick out the faintest of signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. This is the SDR every ham wants. With Icom's IC905, VHF contesting is a breeze. This all-mode rig covers 5 bands with one radio. 2 meters, 70 centimeters, 1.2 gigahertz, 2.4 gigahertz, 5.6 gigahertz bands, and with the optional CX10G transverter, 10 gigahertz. Large color touchscreen, easy D-Star settings, and a separate controller and RF module configuration to reduce signal loss. Explore the world of microwave with the IC905. The IC705 and IC7300 are the perfect go-to rigs for outdoor hams who love POTA and SOTA activations. Both radios feature a large touchscreen with real-time spectrum scope and waterfall for intuitive function and setting operations. The IC705 provides base station features and performance in the palm of your hand from HF to 50, 144, and 440 MHz. The IC7300 is an industry first, using RF direct sampling in an entry-level HF radio. If you're getting a head start on hurricane season, Icom's IC7100, ID5100, ID50, or ID52 are the perfect traveling companions and should be on your go-kit list. From high-powered base stations to compact and travel-friendly handhelds, Icom radios offer in-demand features and functions to keep you active on all bands, inside your shack or out in the field. For more information about Icom's amateur radios, visit icomamerica.com/amateur today.
You all saw that box with a question mark on it, didn't you? You know where I'll be when the show kicks off. So very excited about that. A huge thank you to Icom for sponsoring Ham Nation. We really do appreciate it and all the support you give to the community. You guys are really busy right now preparing for the show. So we will be doing our swag pack picks at the next episode. We'll be doubling up on those, and then we'll be picking a winner for this month. Let's see, what are we giving away for May at the end of the month here? That's right, it's the 5100. So after Hamvention, come back here 2 Wednesdays from now, and we'll be picking the winner for the 5100. I got to say, Gordo, looking at your pictures, I wasn't super excited about Hamvention, but seeing those pictures immediately got me all amped up, and I see my friends ARRL and Kate MRD Ham Radio Tube in there in the chats, and I'm like, oh, buddy, I'm really excited. But all right, let's continue. Thank you, Gordo. Appreciate those pictures. But let's keep the fun rolling, and we're going to throw it over to Don to talk about, his favorite thing about Hamvention, I think.
Well, it's one of my favorite things. And we have guests, too. We have George Ewing, WD8NHI, and we have Kylie. I didn't get Kylie's last name, but Kylie is not a ham. I told her before the show that she needs to be licensed by the end of the show. I gave her an hour. So you had from 8 until 8:20 for technician, from 8:21 until 8:40 for general, and it's now 8:44. So you should be just about ready to get studying for your extra. How you doing, Kylie?
Well, I'm doing. The pressure's a little bit heated up in here.
Okay, well, as long as you're on schedule. As long as you're on schedule. Now, here's my favorite thing. The lanyards. I have this lanyard fetish, and George has been my enabler for a long time. George was kind enough to send me every lanyard that Dayton Hamvention, the scouting crew there, Venture Crew 73, has ever done. But let me show you the cool thing about this particular lanyard this year. I think it's the color. It's Bob Heil purple.
Oh, let me show you.
Yep.
Hold on.
Purple.
Hold that up. There you go, Don.
Purple.
I love it. That's awesome.
That is Bob Heil purple. Thank God for Bob Heil. We miss him so bad.
Thank you, George.
Yes, and not only do you get a lanyard for $5, you get a patch for another $5, and of course they laminate your ticket and stick that on there for no additional charge. And the cool thing is, when you get done after Hamvention, just go ahead and put your VE credentials on there. And that way everyone knows you were at Ham Radio's main event. George, how you doing tonight, sir? Appreciate you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much, Don. Doing pretty good.
Good. Tell us all about the Venture Crew 73 and what you do. And we're going to roll some pictures while you're explaining this, and just kind of tell us what we're looking at here.
All righty. Well, this is the one of our lines. We have a tent right outside the main gate. And in there, in the mornings, we are extremely busy. This is one of the two production lines that we do. And as you look at that, you're going to see several young people that are wearing Boy Scout uniforms. Our Venture Crew, which DARA sponsors, Dayton Amateur Radio Association, is not large enough to staff our event, our fundraiser. We actually partner with 7 area scouting units. These are Boy Scout units that have both boys and girls in them. And several of the troops have a boy and a girl troop. Several of them are just boys only. And like I said, we support 7 different scouting troops with fundraisers. The scouts get an hourly stipend, and their parents are working, and they get credit too. It goes in the scouting account for them. And then we hold a volunteer party for all the scouts that helped us, and we always give a contribution to the troops to help them meet their expenses also.
That is so cool.
One of the pictures I saw flash up was the outside of the tent. There it is. Folks are filling out their prize stubs there. They come in, we laminate their tickets. If they don't want lamination or patches or lanyards, we'll also collect their door prize stub. The prize booth comes over hourly and collects the prize tickets and throws them in the drum for that drawing that hour. So we don't care if you buy anything or not. Come in and say hi, drop your ticket off, and enjoy the show.
Very cool. You know, the neatest thing about this whole thing is how efficient that tent goes. I mean, there is a line, and it is, you said it right, it is an assembly line. You come in, you hand them your money, you tell them, I want a lanyard, or I want a patch, or I want a lanyard and a patch. Here's my ticket, and you just keep on going down the line, and by the time you get to the end, there's a person in a scout uniform with a smiling face handing you your lanyard with your laminated with your patch and your laminated ticket, and off you go, and you go right into the front gate, and you are officially official at that point.
Yep.
It's just the best, and it's a great souvenir too. I always like to I usually buy 4 or 5 because I'll have friends who can't make it to Dayton, like I can't make it to Dayton. So my friend George sends me a lanyard, which I think is really cool. So I always have some friends who can't make it to Dayton or have never been to Dayton, and I like to bring these back. These make great, say, door prizes at your next club meeting or something. Right. Maybe have a quick pop quiz or something. Say, okay, for a 2024 Dayton lanyard, what's the answer to this? And maybe ask a question off the technician test, test pool or something.
Good idea.
So I think this is great what you guys do. How long have you been doing this? Because I've got a stack of lanyards over here that I could probably swim to China in.
Well, maybe not quite that far, Don. We actually formed a crew in 2009.
Okay.
As I recall, it was either December or January when we formed the crew. We were lucky enough, of course, our sponsors, Dayton Amateur Radio Association, which also does Hamvention. So we were allowed to set up in the lobby at Hare Arena. And that first 2 years, we actually went down to Mendelssohn's, and we literally bought any lanyard we could find. It didn't matter if it was from this event or that event or some other event. Our thing was we were laminating the tickets, and people were happy. And I believe our first dated lanyard was in 2011. So we've been doing the dated lanyards since 2011. And this is the first year that we've actually got the safety on the back.
I noticed that. That's a great addition because, you know, if you trip over something like I'm prone to doing, it'll pop right apart.
Oh yeah. So we're very proud of that. If memory serves me correctly, and I may be wrong on this, we started doing the patches in 2018.
Yeah.
So this is like our, you know, of course, Hamvention wasn't held for, I believe, 2 years.
Right.
So this is like our third or fourth patch. So, and between the patches and the lanyards, like I said, we're able to support several of the scouting units here in the Dayton area.
Right. And the patch has a loop on it, so it hangs right there on the lanyard. I mean, it's perfect. You can hang your patch on there. Your ticket will be on there. And then, of course, you know, after the show, like I said, you can put your VE credentials on there. You can put a name tag on there. You can put your keys on there if you like to have a lanyard as a key ring. That works perfectly. That's a little bit too long and too much for me to pack in my pocket, but for me anyway. But that's just me. You know, your mileage may vary. But yeah, these are absolutely great. And by the way, I was noticing my VE credentials expired in 2020. I guess I don't know if that's a 2 or a 3, but I know it's not a 4. So I've definitely got to get these things, get this renewed for my ARRL VE credentials. So what are the hours, guys? Tell me what the hours are that people can come in and take advantage of this great service that you guys do.
Well, I'm thinking gates open on Friday at 9, but we actually start our scouts show up about 7:30. And it takes us a while to get everything arranged in the tent and, you know, get our laminators warmed up. And as soon as we get them warmed up, we'll start bringing people through and getting those processed. And it runs continuous till around 4 or 5. We take it down to one line in the afternoon because, you know, we're just not that busy. There's folks coming into the show, but it's nothing like the lineup when the show first opened.
Now, you have 2 booths, right? You have one on the outside and you have one on the inside, right?
Yes, we have a booth inside. I apologize what building it is, but it's the same building that the DARA prize booth is in, the Hamvention prize booth. In fact, we're right next door to the DARA booth, and at the end of the row is where the Hamvention prize booth is.
Well, that's convenient. That's convenient.
Do you mind if I ask a question?
Go right ahead, Amanda,
okay.
please.
Well, we have this lovely face sitting next to George, and I want to know more. So, Kylie, how did you get mixed in with this guy over there?
Yeah.
So, my brother was one of the first that came into to Venture Crew. And since I was a little girl, I always helped out with Venture Crew and selling these wonderful lanyards and selling tickets. And I had a blast. So, of course, I had to join.
Perfect.
Of course. Well, that's great. So how long have you been involved?
So when you are 14, you can start in Hamvention. Or not Hamvention.
Okay.
And Venture Crew is when you're 14 until you're 21. That's when our age ends and starts. And I love with it. It is so much fun.
Fantastic. So you're going to be in Dayton helping man the booths, right? Okay.
Yep.
Well,
it's so nice to have you here.
Kylie's actually an Eagle Scout.
Wow.
Well, congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah, that's hard.
And I got to say, Kylie, Bob Heil purple has never looked better than it does hanging around your neck.
It's correct.
You rock the Bob Heil purple. I just got to tell you.
But honestly, it'll look better on all of you guys because
well played.
Great on
well
anybody.
done. Well done.
It looks, not very nice. Good deflection. Very nice deflection.
Are you working on your badge and salesmanship as well?
Yeah, she's got that badge
Planning on going
for sure.
into political office later on, perhaps, Kylie?
They're gonna put an Icom radio on your hip and have you walking around.
We'll get you. We'll have Ray talk to you. You'll working for them in a second.
Presenting the next governor of the great state of Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Okay. Well,
Very
thanks for being here, Kylie. I appreciate it. Don,
George,
go back
George,
to you.
Kylie, anything else that we need to know before we let you guys go?
Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Ham Nation for supporting us all these years. It helps get the word out of what we're doing and the stuff that we try to do, and lets people know, hey, there's an inexpensive souvenir you can get from Dayton,
Right.
and you can go to your local clubs and Hamfest. And thank you
Very good.
much.
You're more than welcome. And I saw in the chat that Ham Radio Tube, K8MRD, he said, okay, now I've got to get a lanyard. I want to see this around your neck in August on when we go to Huntsville.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, the gauntlet has been thrown down. I'll have mine on. You better have yours, because I'll be looking for it. I plan on going to Montesano in August and saying hi to you guys at the big camp out. So I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, that's not why you called. George, Kylie, thank you guys so much for joining us. And so, Kylie, you're going to have your call sign next year, right?
I'll try.
Okay, I gave you an hour. Okay, so I'll extend it to this time next year. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, very good. George, Kylie, appreciate you guys being here, and pass by and say hello to these guys when you go to Dayton. Convey your appreciation. Tell them that I personally said thank you for everything that they do. I would appreciate you doing that. And anyway, to everyone in Venture Crew 73, thank you so much for what you do, and we appreciate you being with us here on Ham Nation tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
All right. I think it's time now to check the news of the week and the solar update from Amateur Radio Newsline and Dr. Tamitha Skov. So let's go to that. From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2427, this is Ham Nation Headlines for Wednesday, May 8th, 2024. Our top story takes us to Pennsylvania, which is hoping to become the next state in the U.S. to ban most drivers from using handheld wireless devices while on the road. The bill is stirring emotions in a worried ham radio community.
The Pennsylvania State Senate is poised to consider a measure that would prohibit motorists' use of handheld communication devices, especially cell phones. The bill, sponsored by Senator Rosemary Brown, passed in the state's House of Representatives in early April. The other house of the state assembly, the Senate, is its last stop before the governor's desk, where it would become law once signed. The bill does contain some exemptions. Handheld use is permitted, for example, by emergency responders. According to several reports, amateur radio was also exempted in the original language of the bill, but was later removed in the House Transportation Committee. Miles A. Wicker, Jr., W8ZY, the ARRL's Pennsylvania State Government Liaison, told Newsline in an email that the bill, known as SB 37, remains a hot topic among amateurs throughout the state. He said he reached out to Nolan Ritchie, Executive Director of the Senate Transportation Committee, to explain that without an amateur radio exemption, the impact on hams would be damaging, especially for those involved in emergency communications. Miles told Newsline, quote, "He thanked me for providing the information and stated that they are working toward a resolution. As of today, this is where we sit." This is Sel Emby, KB3 TZD.
Amateur Radio Newsline shares the deep sorrow of our colleagues at CQ Magazine, who have announced that the magazine's publisher has become a silent key. Richard Dick Ross, K2MGA, who became publisher of CQ Magazine in 1979, after serving as its editor in the 1960s, became a silent key on Saturday, April 27th. His achievements in the amateur radio publishing universe were many. As president of CQ Communications, Inc., he published a number of magazine titles, including Popular Communications, CQ VHF, CQ Contest, World Radio Online, Communications Quarterly, CB Radio, Electronic Servicing and Technology, Modern Electronics, Microcomputer Journal, and the Music and Computer Educator. He also oversaw production and publication of CQ books and calendars, as well as the CQ Video Library. Dick was a friend to Newsline, and we could always count on CQ Magazine's support of Newsline's Bill Pasternak Memorial Young Ham of the Year Award. In 2010, Dick was honored at Dayton Hamvention, where he received the Special Achievement Award. We at Newsline express our sympathy to Dick's family and his CQ colleagues. We're all grieving with you. As Newsline went to production, it was not known what plans would be made for CQ Magazine's future. A memorial service will be scheduled for Dick sometime later. Dick was 84. A researcher in Iceland is calling satellites a hazard to the protective shield around the Earth, known as the magnetosphere.
A research paper by an American physicist has been stirring concern about the impact of satellite re-entries on the Earth's magnetosphere. The scientist, Sierra Salter Hunt, a doctoral candidate at the University of Iceland, writes that magnetic dust generated at the time of satellite re-entry could eventually destroy the planet's protective shield, a concern accelerated in recent years by the proliferation of commercial satellite megaconstellations such as the Starlink network. An article on the Spacecom website notes that although meteors are known to burn up as they enter our atmosphere, their makeup is not the same as the man-made satellites. Several media reports say that the research paper's theory has been questioned by other scientists who nevertheless agree that the impact of satellites burning up upon re-entry does require further study. Sierra Salter Hunt told Spacecom that she's grateful there's been such a robust response. She said, quote, "I wanted to get the conversation started," end quote. This is Jeremy Bucci for NJH.
A reminder, the nominating period for the Bill Pasternak WA6ITF Memorial Young Ham of the Year Award is now open and runs through midnight Eastern on Friday, May 31st. More information and a nominating form can be found at arrnewsline.org under the Awards tab. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news since 1976 at arrnewsline.org. With Sel Limby, KB3TZD, Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe, I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 7-3. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation. Now here's the solar update from Dr. Tamitha Skov, WX6SWW.
Space weather this week is getting very exciting. As we take a look at our Earth-facing disk, we are dealing with region 3663. This is the region that has been giving us these big solar flares, not just at an R1 and an R2 level radio blackout, but an R3 level radio blackout as well. In fact, I froze the image on the X4.5 flare that occurred back on the 6th. But despite the fact that this region has been very active, it's not been firing any Earth-directed solar storms. However, you can see region 3664 and 3668. These regions are now rotating in through the Earth strike zone, and they are taking over. In fact, you can see a lot of dynamics here on the 6th and the 7th from these regions kind of leaking out these mini solar storms. However, things started getting serious with much bigger flares. We had 2 X-class flares from this region just over the last 24 hours and 3 solar storm launches that are headed toward Earth. You can see one late on the 7th. You'll see a kind of a finger-like thing come off right here, right about there. And then as we wait for it, you can actually see the next, bam, right there. That was an X-class flare with a full halo, and I'll show the coronagraphs in a second. We wait for it again. Just a few hours later, we had yet another solar storm launch. This one also a full halo. So we've had a lot of activity. As we take a look at the coronagraphs, you can see there's that first solar storm being launched. That one's mainly going southwest of Earth, but it does have an Earth-directed component. Then you can see the big halo come off, and then we have yet a third halo. Do you see that third halo there? So we have 3 Earth-directed solar storms that are going to come back to back to back. So aurora photographers, definitely get ready. We could have some super fun times with aurora deep into mid-latitudes. Now, as we switch to our NLO, our solar storm prediction model, NLO, the top panel is density, the bottom panel is velocity, and you're looking down at the sun from the North Pole with Earth being off to the right. Now, this is SWPSE's version of the model. This is NOAA's version. And as we set this solar storm model in motion, you can see the second and the third storm coming out here. We did not model the first storm, that we've got the second and the third storm. So these are the big 2 halos that we just saw. So we've got a storm ahead of these. But as these come out, you can definitely see they're going to be direct hits at Earth. NOAA's got them hitting late on the 10th, early into the 11th. But remember, we do have that solar storm in front of them. So expect that we're going to start getting some active conditions in and around the 10th, and then by the 11th, we definitely could jump up to G2 levels, possibly G3 levels. So amateur radio operators know you're dealing with stuff on Earth's day side with these big solar flares and radio blackouts, but you're going to have issues on Earth's night side too when the solar storm hits. And aurora photographers, definitely keep your batteries charged. We could see aurora possibly in all the way through the 11th and possibly into the 12th before things begin to calm down.
If that doesn't show you what a huge resource and a blessing that Dr. Tamitha Skov is to amateur radio, then I don't know what you're looking at. I don't want you in the house. Something wrong with you. I'm just saying.
Indeed.
That's just me. I don't speak for the room, I may, but that's just me. You really seriously need to follow her on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I'm old, so it's still Twitter to me. At Tamitha Skov, and of course she has a YouTube channel, Tamitha Skov, and she has the website, Space Weather Woman. Follow her on Twitter because I've been saying this for years, probably. Has it been 10 years now, I think, that we've had her on Ham Nation? I think it's been pretty close.
Yeah.
A long time. I don't think the woman sleeps, seriously, because I check my Twitter feed in the morning and there's 35 feeds from the night before when I went to bed. So, seriously, she is the real deal. She's amazing. She's a sweetheart. She's funny. She's got a rapier wit. But more importantly, she knows exactly what she's talking about, and you need to listen to her. So also, many thanks to the Amateur Radio Newsline crew for putting the weekly newscast together ever since 1976. Can you believe that, when Bill Pasternak started that?
Wow.
No.
Been going for a long time, and I've been part of it, blessedly, since I got my license in 1995. So he I met him through a former Young Ham of the Year, and he put us together, and he says, "Have I got a golden opportunity for you?" And here we are, still here with Amateur Radio Newsline. It's been a blessing. Bill was such a mentor to me, like an uncle or an older brother or a father figure, and I miss him tremendously. And that's his ham radio call plate that you see behind me that was off of his car. Of course, they have two plates in California. The other one is at Karen Eve Murray's QTH, the person who actually took over for him when he passed away as the editor-in-chief of Amateur Radio Newsline. So thank you to everyone who has stepped in and kept that going. And it's a great, Newsline's a great resource. Dr. T is a great resource. And I'm just thrilled to be part of both of those and this as well. Ham Nation is a blessing as well. And I don't know how I got into this club, but I seriously thank y'all for not kicking me out before now. So I'm going to turn it over right now before I get a little bit too maudlin to Amanda. It's good to have you back. Have you back, darling.
Okay. Well, thank you. Every segment has been wonderful tonight, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you to our guests, of course. I've been obviously away for a few episodes, and just want to let everyone know I'm still doing QSL cards, and I might have missed a few orders in my thousands of emails since I've been out of work. But okay, it's time for Ham It or Can It. And
my favorite segment.
And then I added to it, Ham It, Can It, or What Am It? Okay.
What am it? What am it? That's even better.
You've been thinking in your little hiatus, haven't you? Yeah. Right. There's no off button on the Genius machine.
Here we go.
Please. Okay, so here we go. This is just cool.
This speaks to my
soul. This guy's doing a POTA, and he decided he was going to put a CW keyer on his wrist. Now, he was on Twitter with this. Evidently, it didn't work, but I still think it's a really cool idea.
Great idea.
So, very kudos. I say ham it.
Ham it.
Okay. This is just cute because it's AI, and how they got Homer Simpson holding a radio in an AI illustration is just glorious. I think it's perfect.
I like you brought a burger out.
Cool.
That's wonderful.
Okay.
I love it.
This was a what am it to me. I wasn't exactly sure what he was doing here. Anyone else in the room know?
That's like a threaded
soldering
connector.
a 8-pin plug.
8-pin plug. Okay. Because he didn't put a description of what he was working on. So this was what am it?
Yes, it's Meshtastic.
I do know the answer now, but does everyone else know?
Yeah. It's those are Heltec V3 Meshtastic
he
devices.
Put in the hashtag Meshtastic.
Yeah, specifically though,
it's
those
something to do with mesh networking.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Why doesn't Josh jump in and say
I know.
Josh knows about mesh.
Do you not hear me right now?
Slacking.
Hello.
He took a break because I got.
Wait, you don't hear me?
The controls.
Oh, you don't hear me?
Oh, he's muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now you can.
Oh, that's right, because you're sharing the screen. Yeah, those are Heltec V3 Meshtastic devices.
Okay.
Oh, don't show off, Josh, for crying out loud. Just say, yeah, I know what that is.
By the way, we're running Meshtastic at Hamvention this year, so
of course
we'll talk about
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
What? Look at this setup. This is a UK setup. This is crazy.
I love that.
How did they even cut an RV in half? I don't
Oh, they
even
probably
know.
make them like that over there.
Oh my gosh, do you think so?
So
It is
cute.
so
Yeah.
tiny.
And they don't call them RVs. They
They
call them
caravans. That's right.
Caravans. Oh, that's right,
Yeah.
caravans.
The
'cause
roads
it's
are small,
UK.
so the vehicles are small.
Anyhow, it's the cutest setup I've ever seen in my
I love
life. A Hammett for sure.
Oh yeah.
And this was a gentleman that was tried the key on his wrist. I just wanted to give him, you can see who it is, and I forget
Good
his
job.
call sign. I apologize. I think it's James somebody, and I apologize about that. But he always likes to strap things to his body to operate. I think it's cool.
Good job.
Now he's
James.
got a
Keep
whole.
on doing you, James.
Now he's got a whole radio strapped to his leg.
I
That's
know.
impressive. Look at that.
And then look at that little seat. That's one of those like little foldable seats that you
It's
can
like-
like put in your back pocket and
It's
you
like
whip it
back when
out.
I was flying, you had a knee board with all your charts and everything on there. You could make notes and everything strapped to your leg. Yeah.
Heck yeah, he's rocking it.
Cool.
Okay, this is a Hammett and a congrats.
Yeah.
I missed this, but this was an ARRS contact from a school here in Colorado, Thrive Homeschool Academy, and I just wanted to thank everybody, all of my Colorado hams that helped make this contact work. So Hammett,
Okay,
it was
and
awesome.
big props for it to be a homeschool academy, because normally you
Yeah,
hear about
homeschool.
schools, big
Wow.
brick and mortar schools, but no, it's homeschool. So yeah, that's even more awesome.
And they don't typically get together but once a month, maybe twice a month. So
Mm-hmm.
it was even harder to teach the students about ham radio and then about the satellite contact as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
And I'm
Big
really
ups.
glad that they got this opportunity. Once in a
Amazing.
lifetime opportunity for those kiddos. So
Big
congrats.
ups to the homeschool.
Look at this. Hammett, Canet, or what Hammett. Everybody.
That's
Paperclip
I got.
Paperclip
I left
CW
my
key.
key at home, Hammett for sure. I left my
Yeah.
key at home and I had to make it work.
It's brilliant.
It's cool. Okay, this is just a little joke, and we all know this from our Facebook feeds. Yep. Anytime you search for
Love
one
it.
thing, you get
Uh-huh.
all the ads going, and it's usually bowfings. My
Well,
goodness,
It's not a bad thing
it's
necessarily.
not terrible. Okay,
No, it's good.
and rest
Oh.
in peace, MFJ.
Oh, that is sad.
I know, it was really
Yeah.
sad. Oh, I'm missing a photo. Oh, hold on, let me check my phone here.
No
I got to
problem.
tell you, while you're looking for your picture,
Yeah.
I love Martin Jew. He is just the best guy from MFJ. He is the MFJ in MFJ, Martin F.
He
Jew.
is.
K5FLU.
I got to give a personal shout out to Richard Stubbs too.
Yes, absolutely.
Martin Jew's amazing, but Richard Stubbs, you see him all the time at the shows. He's one of the
Right.
hardest working guys out there. And he was one of the first guys that really kind of saw what the YouTubers were doing and helped us
Yeah.
out and made things available to us. And my heart goes out to everybody there. And also,
Absolutely.
I respect Martin Jew, wanting to take some time to be with the family. You do you, Martin.
Sure.
That's with 100% respect.
Tyler and I went up to, this was before Tyler was licensed. We went up there for, I guess it was his 75th birthday party up there at Starkville? 70th or 75th. And we got to, of course, the whole factory and the whole facility was open. You could, get tours, guided tours and everything. And that was just an amazing facility up there. So, yeah. And little known fact, if you have some old MFJ catalogs, go ahead and look through some of the pictures, especially the ones where you have the headsets. If you see the guy with the beard drawn in, that's Richard Stubbs.
That's right. I
Amazing.
remember that.
That's, yeah, the beard
Okay, and
drawn
this
in.
is the picture I left off, James. My apologies, but
Oh, where is it?
yeah,
Live
got it?
TV, folks. We're bringing
I'm
it up.
sorry. I have to share it via my phone, so
Oh, okay.
cancel the screen sharing. Sorry.
That's cool.
Oh, let me give it
We'll
to
make
you.
it work.
Hold on.
We'll make it work.
Oh, what? Almost little kids, a dad maybe with a radio. The brightness is kind of low. It's kind of low, so that might be.
KH2SR has these interesting radios. Gosh darn, I'm sorry that I don't have it.
Sorry,
One
what's
is a
What's the call sign? Can I
4-band
look 'em up?
SSB transceiver. It's James.
Oh, Hannibal?
Hannibal.
Oh,
Yeah. James, what was the picture you posted on Twitter? Tell us what radios those were. He has a few
Oh, I can
multi-band radios.
find him in a
And
minute here.
you can find out. Yeah, it was like today.
Oh, he's my buddy. I can find him. Hold on.
Okay.
Hopefully.
You have friends?
Hey, that's me. Yeah. And it's so cute. And I didn't understand what these radios were. It looks like anything from FRS radio to yeah.
Well, it's radio. That's the important thing.
Josh is having
issues. I know you did. There we go. All right. So which one was it? Oh, there it is. I know exactly. Yes. These are literally all quirky radios that he tracked out.
Okay,
the TJ2B is so the TJ2B that he's holding there was a radio that was popular during the last solar maximum. And it is a handheld HF transmitter.
What?
Yeah, quite an interesting radio. Yeah, very cool.
And he says an old scanner, an old CB radio. So yeah, they have I think there's like 4 radios in that picture at least. Cool, James. Thanks for posting that on Twitter.
That's
the end of Hammett, Can It, or What Am It. I think
I love the third choice. What Am It? That's brilliant.
What Am It's great. That's great.
That's great.
I came up with it today when I was like, "What in the hell is that?" And I know it's radio, but anyhow. All right. Well.
I got something before we close up. I was bringing my kids home from school, and I saw something that I think would shake Gordo to his core. So where is it? I got it right here. There it is. So all the banners at my kids' school, they just threw up with the tie-ties, and they left all the tag ends just there.
God.
Oh, no.
And so I knew Gordo would have a fit if he knew about this. So I came back around. And I cut all of them. I took care of that, Gordo, so don't worry about it.
Right.
We got it taken care of, buddy.
The safety award goes to Josh.
I did go to the office, and I was holding up the tag ends, and I said, "Hey, listen, this is kind of a safety problem because those lower banner eyelets are at kid eye level." And I'm like, "We can't be having this. We can't have it." Right. So they said they'd let the PTA know or whatever who put the signs up. Of course. So yeah.
Safety officer Josh.
Yeah.
It didn't even look like they were like Titan zip ties. I mean,
no, they were just loose, and it was altogether a problem.
So did you snug them down and snip them like a proper ham should?
Well, I snugged most of them down, but some of them were already like they made it like a link, and they kind of stretched it to fit. I wasn't there when the signs were put up. Let me just say
as long as you used your better judgment, that's all I asked.
I did. I did. But anyway, yeah.
By the way, I felt a little underdressed, so I put the Heil purple lanyard on.
Don, can you hold up the patch? Actually, some people are asking in the chat, what does the patch look like? Can you hold the patch up to the best of your ability?
Let's see if I can get a little closer. Here's a better way.
There you go. Yeah, you may not have to go with it. Hey, there's the safety release. There it is. Yeah.
See, look how handy that is. All right, here we go. Get up close to it. There you go.
That's a good one. Yeah, I mean, for awesome. $5, there's no reason not to get that, right?
Oh, it's very nice, and you've got the loop on there that hangs on the thing.
Yeah,
perfect souvenir.
And it's got the Heil purple in there as well. So yeah, they do a great job with these. These are awesome.
That's a Scout hanger patch, basically, with that.
That
loop
is a
on the
Scout
top.
hanger patch. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, good job.
Very cool.
Oh, all right. Anybody?
Stop sharing.
Do you have anything you need to share with us, Amanda, or let's go around the room? Starting with Amanda, ladies first.
Well, thank you. It's just nice to be back, and I don't really have anything to share except for I hope to get on the air. Hope to join Josh in his live forum and say hi to everybody, the Dayton ham goers, and everybody. Be safe in your travels and have a blast and post lots of pictures. And who knows what will show up in our next Ham It or Can It. It could be a wild one.
Excellent. Gordo, anything you want to mention before we head out? I mean, we're heading out next week.
We'll look forward to seeing all of you at Dayton one way or the other. That following week when is our next show. Unfortunately, I'll still be out in the wild, but I shall return about 3 or 4 weeks later.
Very good.
All right. Don, you want to mention anything?
Yeah, I happen to be off Saturday to Dayton. I will be here in South Mississippi, but I will see you guys on the Zoom thing. So looking forward to that at the presentation there at Greene County. And I would like to see social media flooded by hams wearing these. Take a picture, put it on X, put it on Instagram, put it on Facebook, put it wherever. I want to see your lanyards on social media. And a big thanks to, of course, the Venture Crew 73 there in Dayton, and George and Kylie and everybody else involved with that endeavor. They're doing great work.
Hashtag Bob Heil.
I like that too.
Hashtag Heil Purple or whatever.
Heil Purple's good too.
It's Heil Purple. I know that wasn't planned, but it's just serendipity, and it's just perfect. And I think that Bob is probably looking down and going, "Aw, that's the perfect color."
Yeah,
it is good. I got two things, and then I'll throw it back to Amanda to talk nets. So let's see. We have a talk-in frequency that the YouTubers are going to be on at Hamvention. It's going to be 146.48. 0 megahertz, and I'm also going to be running Meshtastic with a number of other YouTubers, and we will have GPS enabled on it, so you could actually find us by using your Meshtastic devices, which is a little wild. If you want to know what our channels will be, just join us on the Discord. Link is in the description. Join the hashtag Hamvention Discord, and look for the big QR code that was posted by me, and if you scan that with your Meshtastic phone app, you'll be loaded with the channels when you make it to Hamvention. Yeah, it's very cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Neat.
I love technology.
It's amazing. Oh, no, Amanda, we talked about Meshtastic. I can't wait to talk to you more about that. I think you have a use case for this, actually. Yeah.
I could probably put a use case on it. Yeah. Okay. We gotta wrap it up here. Let's talk about the nets. We have Kevin, KC7 FPF on 40 around 71.92. And Steve, K7 UDI, he should be on 14.268. I believe it's time for 20 meters. If not, check him out on 75 meters in normal frequency. And don't forget D-Star on 14 Charlie. Can't wait to hear you all.
Yeah, well, It's amazing having you back, Amanda. It feels really good. I'm really glad. And for everybody else watching, we'll see you again in 2 weeks. But please come up and say hi at Hamvention. I'll be posting a couple more videos this week and next week that kind of lead up to it. And then we'll see you there. So make sure you come out, and I'll be live again at Hamvention. So I hope you do watch. Until we talk to you again, everybody, 73. Thank you.
Travel safe to Dayton, everyone. Good night.
Travel safe. That's right.
Thanks, Michael. We'll see you soon in the booth.
See ya, everybody.
Somebody asked me, how do we find you in the booth? I said, just come and look for the guy that looks like a 6-foot-tall garden gnome.
There you go.
Perfect.